Okay, today we have the X-Men vs. Street Fighter stage, the Raging Inferno stage. It's by MaxBeta, or originally was, before I started messing with it. Okay, so I have a lot to say. Try to get through this. Okay, first of all, pay attention to this little pipe here. A little smoke is going to be coming out of it in a second. That wasn't there at all in the original version. And even though the smoke does exist in one of the other versions, it didn't have like 7 of the frames from it, so I had to go and like carefully collect all those frames manually off my copy of the game for Saturn. And so got all that. This is the only version of the stage out there that has a transition into the second phase, as far as I can tell. So that's why I'm basically using it as the model to build off of. And you'd be forgiven for not knowing this has a transition originally, because it took like a good solid 2 minutes or so for it to happen. I cut the time it takes to get to the transition basically in half. So I took like 3,000 ticks off the counter in code speak. The floor, I think it was sliding ever so slightly. I tried to tighten it up a little, once again, only to the point where like I can't tell if it's sliding or my mind's just playing tricks on me. There's helicopters up top. I slowed them down a little. There's also a helicopter that goes by. I'm jumping over him now. He also was like, I slowed him down a little because in the source game it certainly seemed like they were moving slower than they were in MaxBeta's original. When the screen transitions, there used to be like a warning sign that happened. I took that out because it didn't seem to be in any version of the source game that I saw on YouTube, so I'm pretty sure it wasn't supposed to be there. It looked like it was from Mega Man X. There's also a bunch of little explosions in the middle of the transition that aren't really the source-accurate explosions, but the source-accurate explosions are really hard to get because the screen like tilts up super hard between rounds. Because that's what the transition happens. As soon as you knock a character out, the transition happens. And then like the second character there of the component will just like drop down from the sky. And so this all the explosions that were going off are like half hidden by like on the bottom of the screen because the screen tilted up to see the new character. So that would be making it extra hard to get those images. And some of them are hidden behind the foreground objects, making that extra hard to get them. So I really don't blame MaxBeta for using alternate explosions for the transition. He did make a mistake with his sprite rips. There was a bunch of like transparency dots around some of the explosions that he had, and also there was like a couple of the explosions that like just sort of flickered on one of the frames, where the other ones are sort of like a multi-frame animation. So I added a little bit more to the transition explosions. Let's see what else. The sky was a little bit busted before. Like you could see like a line of exposed void up there if you jumped all the way up, and the background you can't really tell because of the transition light. But when it shifted over, like the background got pulled up a pixel higher than it was supposed to be. So the background animation on the second phase is repositioned to be down one. Let's see what else. One of the frames from the background was in the file, but wasn't actually active. And it was like a distinct animation frame, not just like a tilt of light or something. It was a distinct frame, and it just wasn't active, so I reactivated it. One of these frames had like a giant discoloration off the top half of it. I fixed that up. Let's see. There's so much. So you see all these animations, these fire animations. There's so much in the fire that was like frozen chunks of the fire that just hung in place. Like imagine like one of these little frames that's hanging above it at the top. Just imagine it was hanging there the whole time on every frame. And not only that, sections of the fire within the fire would just hang in place. And it looked really, really bad, but it was source accurate. The bad fire animation was source accurate, and it's so I can't blame that on MaxBeta. He did everything right as far as that's concerned, except missing that one frame, of course. But I spent like 4 hours just trying to clean up the fire sprites and make the animations run smoother. But if you have an eagle eye, you're probably still going to notice frozen little sections in there. I basically had to just stop myself from working, or I was going to be here for like an extra 2 to 3 days, just cleaning up stuff that nobody's like super paying attention to anyway, and it was making me kind of miserable. Even though I usually go as hard as possible, because I know stuff like that is going to bug me. I originally thought I was just going to like give a disclaimer that, see that funky thing in the background? Well, that's just like that in the Source game, but like, no, my brain's like, but you can fix it though. You can fix it and then it won't be an issue. But yeah, there's still some left in there. Just had to, oh God, I feel like I'm forgetting some stuff. There's also some just strangeness in the background when it's on this, the different transitions. That's not actually like an error. It's just weird. Like, it almost looks like an extra pipe just generates into existence on the Fire version, and like an extra pipe just generates into existence down here on this thing on the Fire version. Like, it's not one of the fallen over things. It's just like this little, I want to say like a octopus rim has an extra little bar here when the fire kicks in. It's just like some weird inconsistency in the art itself. There's a bunch of little stuff like that. Like this building, like the shape of it just changes a little in the Fire version. I have no explanation for that. Oh God, I know I'm still forgetting stuff. There was a lot of little stuff. Oh, yeah, there was void on the left side too, so I had to like reposition like the background's delta to go over there and cover that hole. Oh, I remember one now. You see the far background, the sky with the like stuff way in the distance with the little like super faded stuff. The sky had like a double pixel in it, or a double line in it. So like it was copy pasted over itself and like 1 pixel to the right. So I had to go in there and manually fix all those and push them back to the left, and then cover the pixel that's off to the right. No, you can't even see it. It's like blocked by all the stuff, but I still corrected it. Just stuff like that. There's probably even more things, like a bunch of little minor issues. But if MaxBeta sees this, I'm still grateful for him getting it like 70% of the way there. Oh, almost clicked out the video without telling you the last thing. Okay, so that is the only one that I found with the transition, but I included versions here that stay on each form. So this version, it stays on the front half. The little smoke still goes off like it does before. What triggers that smoke in the game is getting the first fighter down to half health, and it kind of like foreshadows the blow up. But it's never gonna blow up on this version, but yeah, the smoke still triggers. And then we have the version where it's just straight up immediately in the fire. So I got you covered there if you just want to go immediately to the Fire version or not for some reason. I got you covered on those angles. I'll probably doing a couple of more versions of this stage that cover all my bases. There's obviously the night version still to do. And I think there's like a couple of like fan palettes out there that I'll just like kind of repalette one of these versions or build it off this one to make it. And so yeah, I'm going to be doing a couple more Raging Inferno stages, but here's the main one for you.